It is Riggs Eckelberry, the CEO of OriginOil, on a day where the market is finally behaving in the right direction, and with respect to Riggs Eckelberry, this is big stuff here. Can I pull out some? We need to pull out some big Riggs Eckelberry music because this is a big day.
Eckelberry Hound Dog?
Well, no, this is a big day, and the reason is because the Clean-Frac 1000 unit left this morning for Colorado, setting up for the showcase on the 20th, which we will be at filming a bizumentary for the Biz Television Network and YouTube.
Big thing? Big
thing. Well, Riggs, tell us about it there, big boy. It's a big deal, isn't it?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. So this is big news for you.
Well, we're excited. The showcase is on the 27th of May near Grand Junction, Colorado. Mm-hmm. And as you say, the Big Biz Show team will be out there videoing it. But this is the Clean-Frac 1000, and it reflects a major strategic move ahead. As you know, we decided we were going to acquire some companies, and boy, have we been. The day I said we're going to acquire some companies, I started getting a whole lot of dossiers on my desk of some fantastic companies.
Well, all of our friends called Riggs, and we gave them your personal email address. So that's kind of how that works, you know.
Thank you. And you can keep going, but just make sure that they actually are in business.
Yeah, that's it's funny. We should talk about that sometime, Riggs, because as a CEO of a public company, there's always opportunity, but the due diligence process usually starts and ends very quickly on these things, because sometimes it's a great idea and sometimes it's a real company, and the diamonds in the rough is what you get good at looking at, right?
Right. So what we're looking for is companies that are profitable, that are a good platform for us to roll out. And what we realized they needed was not just a technology we could embed as we do with licensing, but they actually needed full product end-to-end to service these oil field operators with. And so we decided, and this is, in fact, we'll be announcing this shortly formally, but I'm letting you know informally, which is that Clean-Frac will be a complete product line that delivers from the dirty frack water all the way to as clean as it has to be, all the way to drinking if necessary, or whatever the customer needs. So we'll have that capability very, very shortly. We'll be demonstrating it in Colorado on the 27th of May. And that's how we're going to give these companies the ability to take their existing, let's say they're doing, X amount of money in revenue per month, well, they'll be able to 10X that because they'll have a breakthrough product with a new technology.
Let's stop there for a minute, because what you are doing, Riggs, is you're putting another arrow in their quiver. Really. Yes. I mean, if you really think in terms of without them changing one thing about their model, without them changing one management person, all right, without them really changing the way they do business, just by adding in a technology like this through a licensing agreement, that could be a 10, 20x multiple for any given company that suddenly you have provided a secret sauce for. Let's say that company didn't have a proprietary advantage before, you've just given them one. Is that about the idea?
Yes, let's take as an example ISI, which is our host in Delta, Colorado, on the 27th of May. They have an existing business and a good customer base for selling folding or portable frac tanks. So they deliver these on site, open them up, and now the operators can throw all that frac water in the tank. Well, it's a natural line extension for them to go, hey, well, let's clean that water for you. Let's not just let it sit there. And so you're right. They're leveraging the existing customer base, and they'll be able to really take off. They're doing it as a licensee, and that's great because we get a percentage of everything they do. But we're also planning to get these operating companies for the direct revenue, and also it will help us learn lessons in the field that we don't want to learn on our customer's dime.
And then you put that back in your brother's hands in the basement, and he comes up with another invention, something to pull out of water. Fracking water.
It's freaking crazy.
Let me ask you something, Riggs. With respect to that, we haven't, your website OriginOil.com. There's stock symbol OOIL on the front page of the website. And for our television audience, let's take a look at it right now. I'm going to show it to you.
It's like a chocolate brownie.
Yeah, for our radio audience, though, I want you to go to OriginOil.com. There's a lot of great video. There's a lot of Riggs's interviews here. But this is the oil and gas vertical. We've been talking about the algae vertical and the aquaculture vertical for a few weeks now. Now we're talking about the oil and gas. But you did mention something a few minutes ago, and that's about the drinking water side of things. And I know that's almost even further back than a tertiary sort of focus for you guys. But is that the natural progression for this? Is because you go from making energy for the world, extracting energy from the water, creating a food source from the algae, and now we're talking about wastewater all of a sudden. Is that in this same purview, or does that have to be a separate vertical for you that's have to concentrate, or is that just one of those great byproducts that they all create?
Sully, this is very, very good point you make, because what comes out of the well is not just the water they put in, but the water that's released from formations. And these are vast quantities of water. And the farmers in the Imperial Valley are going, hey, we'll buy water from the oil operators if it's clean, but it's got to be cleaned all the way to drinking quality, no hydrocarbons whatsoever, because you're gonna be watering crops with it. So, but there's huge amounts of water that come out of these, and they're generally thrown down these disposal wells. But this is a real asset for America, is to have the clean water to work with. Our Clean-Frac will deliver water to the full quality and do it in real time without having to sit in settling tanks for weeks.
Yeah, freaking fracking water.
Well, the good news is this this product line called Clean-Frac. That's almost disruptive, Riggs, with respect to, you're crossing over not only business models here, but you are making it politically accessible for people to talk about fracking. Because when you bring in the word Clean-Frac, suddenly you've brought in the clean energy sector, and then you've also brought in the fracking sector together, and you've brought in a new technology to kind of mitigate all of the political rumblings. And I know that you've got to be very careful about that because of the position of the company. But let's face it, this, just the branding and the positioning itself, you guys have done a lot of thinking about, obviously.
Yes, and we have technology. For example, algae makes a superior fuel. It's clean petroleum in a way, you could say. But you also have to stop the dangerous stuff that goes on. So the petroleum industry, I'm convinced, wants to do the right thing. They need the technology. There will be fracking in places like California, but there are real movements against it. There's real opposition.
Oh, yeah.
And there are attempts to stop it cold in its tracks. And this will help perhaps find a middle ground where California can get some revenue, the oil industry can get its thing, and we can preserve our water.
Hey, listen, I want to. I may, if there's acquisition news, Riggs, this week, are you allowed to talk about that as a public company, or do you have to, like, if you're getting close to it? In other words, let's say something in the next 48, 72 hours happen like that.
Yeah.
Could we steal you again later in the week and talk about that? Is that allowed, or do you have to wait for the transaction to be further down the road?
Yes, at this point, I'm really not allowed to telegraph what's going on. I can tell you that we have a very good platform for acquisition. A lot of these companies are mom and pop. They don't know where to go to get liquidity. We can give it to them. So
There you go.
Riggs Eckelberry, thank you, brother.
That was a casual announcement.
CEO of OriginOil, one of the most exciting companies. We've been doing this show for 18
Yeah,
years.
I like
It's one of the best companies we've ever followed. Small caps, people too. OriginOil.com, OOIL.